Welcome, tiny adventurers, to Grounded. After completing all 4 labs and finding evidence of Dr. Tully's scaby, the next place you're headed is to the Undershed. The entrance to the Undershed is on the right-hand side of the shed, near a puddle of water. The bioscanner here will only let you inside after you've repaired Dr. Tully's scaby. This is a large, dark, and dangerous place. There's a lot of dangerous challenges and a lot of loot up ahead. If this is your first time here, don't be afraid to leave to repair and restock your items. As a heads up, you will not need any Bratburst bombs. You can leave those at home. What you do need to bring is a lot of light sources. To make things easier, I'll mostly be traveling in third person with my torch and firefly headlamp equipped to light the way. The Undershed can basically be divided into 3 sections. The first section can just be called the entrance. Right off the bat, there's a Milk Molar on the support beam right in front of you with a couple dust mites guarding it. You can get to it by jumping down using a dandelion tuft. The entrance has the most wandering insects. There are dust mites, black ox beetles, termites, and a couple wolf spiders roaming this area. Be careful. You can, however, travel quite safely along the pipes and wires found in the area. Most of this zone's secrets are easier to get up from up there anyway, and I'll be going over most of them in this video. First off, I'd like to point out that this area has a lot of lint. You can collect a lot of it if you get close to any of the fiberglass insulation, which is the fluffy pink stuff. One of the first places you should get to is the field station to the left of the entrance. Walk up the wood plank to the left, either while killing or avoiding the termites, and you'll find it sitting on top of the support beam. The most important part about this specific place is that it lets you get on top of the cable right next to it. If you follow the cable to the left, it leads back to the entrance where you can grab some raw science and get that Milk Molar if you haven't gotten it already. If you follow the cable to the right, past the small bit of insulation, you can drop down to another support beam with some more raw science, guarded by some termites. From this support beam, if you turn back around, you should be able to notice a small piece that can help you get back onto the wire. Before we go too far, there are 2 molars below us we should get to first. Directly below you, you should be able to find a pipe entrance. Be careful, there's a wolf spider that usually wanders this area. If you enter the pipe and go all the way to the back, you'll find a Mega Milk Molar. Back near the pipe entrance, there's a large crack in the ground that goes further down. There are several orb weavers below to the left, but we don't have to worry about them since there's nothing there. On the far right-hand side is another Milk Molar. That about covers everything at the entrance. You can move straight into the next section, which is called the Undershed Sinkhole, a few different ways, like by crossing this screwdriver. But if you want more loot, go all the way back to the field station and get on top of the wire again. If you follow the right path again, you'll reach a point where the cable ends and another begins. You can try to jump on that nail to get to the other side, but jumping with a dandelion tuft works best. The new cable will lead to another pipe. Let's explore on top of it first. The first thing you'll notice up ahead is more raw science. If you grab it, there's no quick and easy way back onto the pipe from here. You'll have to go all the way back to the field station again. Science. Once you're back on the second pipe, up ahead you'll find a small metal pipe that leads to the middle of the room. If you walk along this, you'll find that there's another Mega Milk Molar on top of the insulation. To reach it, you'll have to jump from one pipe to the other, Use a tuft to make sure you don't miss this jump. Climb back onto the first pipe and along a couple cables. Then climb onto the fiberglass to get the Mega Milk Molar. Before we explore the sinkhole, there's one more place you may want to visit. If you go inside the second pipe you were just walking on, you'll find several Scarabs. Scarabs are very rare and elusive creatures. They drop twinkling shells, which are used to craft jewels which can upgrade your weapons past level 7. In this pipe, there are 4 of these bugs. It's a great place to stock up. Now onto the most annoying part of the Undershed, the Sinkhole. This place is a small lake that has several mosquitoes. Your objective is to get to the cave covered in spiderwebs on the far side. This area only has a couple bits of raw science, and it's essentially just a large jumping puzzle. The first raw science you can get is inside the pipe that's under the water. Be careful. The water is filled with spiny water fleas. It's best just to avoid them. There's also some pond moss at the bottom of the sinkhole, but you need a tier 3 dagger in order to harvest it. Currently, the only tier 3 dagger available requires ingredients from Black Widow spiders that we haven't found yet. Once you catch your breath, I highly recommend killing as many mosquitoes as you can before moving on. The best way to jump around in this place is to go third person with all of the lights equipped, like how I've been doing it. If you make it all the way to the other side, right before the cave, you'll find some more raw science to pick up.
My mom always says I light up a room.
After killing the rest of the mosquitoes and getting to the cave, we're about to encounter a new enemy. You may meet them at the cave entrance, or might not see them until you get inside. But here is where you'll find Black Widowlings. These tiny spiders poison you, so it's best to keep your shield up and have the Mithridatism mutation equipped. If you have a spicy Koltana, it works well against them, but you may want to keep your shield up to avoid the poison. In case you haven't figured it out by now, where there are Black Widowlings, there's the Black Widow spider. Before we get too deep into this boss fight, let's go over how to get to this cave again. If you're near the cave side of the sinkhole, you can climb the nearby branch, then jumping with a dandelion tuft a couple times can make it to the cave. If you can't seem to make those jumps, here's a guide on how to get to the cave starting from the area with all the mushrooms. You first jump on these branches, then you climb this branch and jump onto the other. You go over to the other side. Jump from one branch to the next again. And there you have it. 2 ways to get to the cave. Now let's talk about this beast up ahead. If you haven't encountered any Black Widows up in the yard yet, not only are they harder than any other spider you fought, but this one also has mini-boss health and damage bonuses as well. Before doing anything, you should very carefully try to clear the room of any Black Widowlings. This is a boss that needs your full attention. Before you do anything, you need to save your game. This is a very dangerous place, and it's useful to have a checkpoint in case bad things happen. At this point, you have 2 choices. You can try to sneak past the spider and avoid fighting it completely, or you can fight it. There's no shame in running. I think I died 30 times trying to kill it my first time. But as you can see, it's entirely possible to get to the other side without having to engage. Just remember that there are more black Widowlings on the other side of the cave. There's also a Mega Milk Molar in the left corner of the room. You can actually get to it without having to fight the Black Widow. If, however, you want to face this boss to make this area safer, then let's get ready to fight. As a tip, this particular Black Widow spider will not respawn after you kill it. Before we begin, let's talk strategy. The torch and firefly headlamp won't help you here. Make sure you equip your strongest armor. Also, if we check out the Black Widow creature card, it tells us they resist everything. This is very difficult to build around. Only neutral damage type weapons like the Red Ant Club, the Fire Ant Club, and the Club of the Mother Demon, which comes from fighting the Hedge Broodmother, will work well against this enemy. The Black Widow attacks incredibly fast. You'll take so many hits that your shield is likely to break. Instead, you should learn all of its attacks and try to parry all of them with your strongest two-handed weapon. Only bring up the shield when it's time to heal. For mutations, I recommend picking from the following: Mithridatism to help with the poison, Parrymaster since you'll be parrying a lot, Meat Shield to give you more health, Barbarian, which gives buffs if you're using a club. Cardio Fan can also be useful to make sure you have lots of stamina. I didn't bring many with me today, but a good combat accessory and some smoothies can also help with this fight. I picked up some Sticky Slop at some point. It gives me a small quick heal and some regeneration to help counteract the poison. Lastly, don't forget, if your equipment is breaking down, then it might be worthwhile to head back to base, repair, restock, then come back to try this with your best equipment. That said, with all of the prep out of the way, let's do this. Remember to save again before starting the fight. You're going to be clicking that Reload Last Save button on death a lot. The Black Widow is essentially a spider on steroids. As you can see, its attacks are much faster than any spider you've met so far. It has every attack from every other spider. It has the 5-hit combo from wolf spiders and the 3-hit combo from orb weavers. Remember to prioritize blocking and parrying all attacks above all else. It actually isn't the melee damage that kills you, it'll be the poison. If you do get poisoned and your health is getting low, equip your shield and focus on blocking and healing instead of parrying while you try to get your health back. It's basically a good strategy to focus on damage when your health is near full, then focus on defense and healing if it gets close to half. The poison here is strong, especially if you get poisoned multiple times, and you'll probably need to heal multiple times before it's safe again. Also, try not to heal the boss by accident like this. And there you have it. After a long battle, we finally defeated the Black Widow and got some new loot. Black Widow parts can be made into the Widow armor set and the Tier 3 Widow dagger. Don't forget, a few more Black Widowlings are on the other side of this cave. Now that we've entered the back side of the Undershed, the first thing you'll notice is the official entrance to the Undershed Lab. Before we go in, there are 4 Milk Molars we should get first. Just behind the Spider Cave exit, if you follow along the wall, you'll find a Milk Molar hidden in the corner. If you go to the plank in the corner towards the sinkhole, there's another Milk Molar sitting on one of the support beams. Around the middle of this area are 2 planks that go up. Instead of climbing them, go underneath the one on the left and you'll find a Mega Milk Molar. If you climb the planks, you can get to an area with a few Widowlings, some raw science, and the last Milk Molar.
I'm holding raw science in my hands. What does it even mean?
You can also float down from up here to the open pipe above the sinkhole to grab the last raw science. With all the looting out of the way, it's time to enter the Undershed Lab.
Oh, wow. That is a lot of raw science.
At this point, you won't need torches or the Firefly headlamp anymore. Equip your best armor before moving forward. If you look around, you'll notice that Dr. Tully has been up to some weird experiments. Something about creating a new body to deal with the raisoning he's suffering. After killing a couple fire ants, you'll want to go down the door to the left. If you continue to the second room, you'll encounter fire ants, 2 infected larvas, and 2 Orb Weaver Juniors. Don't try to fight these all at once. It would be bad if you died this far into the lab. Once you're done, hit the switch in this room to unlock the door on the other side of the lab. Once you go through the other doors, you will encounter the MANT. Part man, part ant. This is the final boss of the lab. To get to it, you'll have to climb up the broken ceiling, then drop down a hole to face it. Compared to the Black Widow, the MANT will be a cakewalk. If you wait around, you can also peep it from above before fighting it to think about your strategy.
New one for the bestiary.
For this fight, since it's weak to fresh damage, I like using the Mint Mace, which also helps stun it. If you're worried about this encounter, don't forget to save again before starting the fight. I'll also go third person with this for the full cinematic glory. The MANT has a couple clearly telegraphed basic attacks. If it does an overhead slam or punches with its right hand, both attacks will knock you back even if parried. It also has a combo attack starting with its left hand that you need to parry multiple times. This move has more attacks the weaker it is, so it's best to keep your guard up until you're sure the combo is over. At 75%, it summons a single fire ant. It's more annoying than dangerous, so take care of it quickly. The MANT also learns some new moves. It throws the fungus on its back, which causes an explosion. It also can charge its fungus and unleash 3 explosions in a row. This is probably its most dangerous attack. Run away if you see it coming. At 50%, it summons a fire soldier ant. It's a little bit more difficult, but it shouldn't be a problem for you. The MANT also learns one more move, albeit it's quite weak. It can now throw a ball of web. This pulls you in and slows you down if you're hit, but it's only a problem if you're fighting it at range. Remember to watch out for the upgraded combo attack. Upon defeat, you'll gain the Mysterious Stranger mutation and 1000 raw science from looting its corpse. Press the button near the glass to unlock the door on the other side, then use the bioscanner to leave this room. Now to give you a polite warning, what comes next is part of the main story quest. If you want to discover this part on your own, stop the video now. If you're okay with being spoiled a little bit, then just sit tight for a moment.
You may have defeated my MANT, but you and your eminent paymasters will never get their hands on the embiggening cocktail. I'll take that secret to my grave. To my...
What? No! How can this... Where is the override? Well, here I am! Wendell Tully in all his glory!
We've finally caught up to Dr. Tully, who's raisined so much that he had to preserve his head in a jar. Before leaving this place, there's a recipe to your immediate right after entering the room. This helps you build a fresh storage container that allows you to store food that won't spoil anymore. Dr. Tully also instructs you to grab the grilled science in the next room. There's also a lot of food there if you have the inventory space for it. Once that's done, you can leave the Undershed Lab. Dr. Tully will follow behind you. At this point, the next step in the main story is to get to the Java-matic with Dr. Tully. Just be aware that new orc-controlled insects now roam the yard and will attack you on sight. If you want to keep exploring the yard as usual, you can press F to toggle whether Dr. Tully stays where he is or whether he follows you.
Be careful! Wonderful! Amazing! Superlative! Excelsior!
I usually leave him by the Java-matic, since that's where he's needed for the next step anyway.
Standard model Java-matic.
I hope you enjoyed this guide to the Undershed. Good luck with the Black Widow. I'll see you next time.